Well, it's been a week or so since PvZ 3 released its latest beta release. Since I guess I'm a PvZ YouTuber now, I guess I should tell my thoughts on it and what I think of the latest build of this game, which is like the fourth release build of the game. I'm recording this at 10:45 p.m. at night. Why? Because I don't really care too much about this game to yap about it for hours upon end. So I decided, you know what? What would be the funniest thing? If I did this half asleep and edited it in Movie Maker. Because I think that would be very funny with the transitions that has. Because this game is genuinely the definition of mediocre. So, a mediocre game is going to get a mediocre review from me because I don't think it deserves my attention this much. But I still want to talk about it a little bit because I think it's an interesting game, honestly. Like, it's not even bad, per se, Like, it's not a terrible game, but it's also like, why did they do some of the things they did in this game is beyond me, honestly. So, in case you're out of the loop, PvZ 3 has been in development hell for about 5 years now, I'd say. It had its pre-alpha release in 2020, and this was heavily criticized for many reasons. Its gameplay was really poor because they completely removed some producers. You only had 6 slots to pick plants from, and you had to unlock those plants by getting seed packets. Zombie and plant leveling returned, and they were very prominent. There was not a lot of gameplay to do. There were a lot of plants and a lot of zombies, but there wasn't really a way to play the game without either having to pay money to level up your plants, or I guess just grinding a lot, which was really sad. The main thing that drove people away from the original version of PvZ 3 though was the art style, which was completely shifted from the usual 2D art style we've had in PvZ 1 and PvZ 2 into a 3D style where all the plants and the zombies were 3D and the environments and everything was all 3D. And for a lot of people it looked really weird and really bad, and I do agree, it is a weird art style. A lot of the plants, especially in the zombies, looked really weird, and you should be seeing footage of what that looked like in the video currently. For the record, all of the footage that I'm gonna be showing here is not mine, and that's because I really cannot record this old version or the newest version on my phone because it's just really laggy. My phone is kind of old, so I'm not really able to showcase the game itself that well on my really old phone, So the credits will be on the corner if you want to look at who made the footage. So feel free to visit their channel for that. Anyways, yeah, PvZ 3 pre-alpha was really bad and criticized by a lot of people to the point that it basically garnered a reputation of being terrible. So eventually PopCap took it down. It almost looked like they wanted to continue the game as how it was there, but due to the terrible reception and feedback that they got, they decided, you know what, let's pull it back. And so they pulled it back. They completely shut down the game, and they shut down the servers and everything, and the game just disappeared. And then about a year or two later, I think it was probably a year or so later after that, in 2021 or 2022, I don't remember exactly when, we got our first look at the new PvZ 3, which was, it didn't let you choose your plants at all. You basically had to play the levels, which were really short. This was also an issue in the original version, but who cares about that version at this point, really? Only me. I only care about that version. In this new PvZ 3 version, you couldn't pick your plants. Every level had you play with pre-selected plants. Basically, the entire game was locked and loaded. You will occasionally get new plants, but that was very rare. And same with the zombies, you will barely see any new zombies. And this version was also hated by many people because you couldn't pick your plants, which was like the main selling point of PvZ, was that you could pick out your own loadout of plants and use a strategy that you could build up with those plants. And they completely ruined that. So people complained about that. People complained about the levels being really short and extremely difficult because they used a lot of dynamic difficulty, where if you kept winning often and constantly, the level will spawn more zombies, and they will eventually get so annoying to the point that it will just not be, you will not be able to win, and you will have to use power-ups or something. I don't remember that version exactly too well. I just know it was hated because the power-ups were pretty much forced, you know? They were basically forced upon you to use power-ups, which, again, this version shut down because people hated it. Then they released another version of the game, which was very similar, except they finally let you pick your plants. And the problem was still the same, that there were too many zombies, the levels were too short, there were too many zombies, you couldn't really get a defense up. Pretty sure at this point they finally brought back sound producers, only Sunflower, then later on they brought back Sunshroom. They also brought back Puffshroom, I think, and they were like, those were the only 2, maybe 3 new plants they added, and then nothing else. Then they had like 2 new zombies, and I don't know, it's really weird because at some point in this version of the game, PopCap decided to start updating the game regularly with new levels, in quotation marks, new levels, because again, all of the levels were really short. You had about like 300 plus levels or something like that, but they were all very short, and they were very, they didn't really feel like PvZ in itself, like, you're not really going to like an, 15-minute level, but having a level that only lasts like 2 minutes doesn't really let you do anything, right? So people really didn't like that, but they liked that you could finally pick out your plants. The problem is that there were barely any plants that you could pick. So, and also, again, the power-up stuff was also encouraged a lot. So power-ups were basically the name of the game, and it was really, really bad and annoying. And I didn't play this version because I did not care about PvZ until then, at that point. I did not really care about PvZ between the era when the pre-alpha came out until this point, recently. So, that version shut down. It was like 2024, I believe. It was probably like early 2024 when that version... It was early 2024 when it ended. And then it released around the end of 2023, I believe. I'm not sure about the dates. You guys can correct me in the comments if you want. I don't care. I'm pretty sure none of you cared either way. Like, let's just pretend I'm right, okay? So, now we get to the, what's happening right now. So, the game, sorry, voice crack. The game shut down by that point. And it was around the not really early. It was around late September where there were these leaks coming out of new plans coming to PvZ 3, and we were all thinking that the game was going to be brought back in the way that it was going to be before, right? Because we saw plans like Electric Pea Shooter, we saw plans like Sling Pea, the typical Sunflower Walnut. We even saw a few of the PvZ 3 pre-alpha plans, which was a really nice surprise because they were bringing those back. We saw, I think, Melon Pole was in there, Kernel Pole as well. We saw a lot of plans. And by that point, we had also been seeing China come up with their own PvZ 3 version, which was released a couple months ago, I think. It was released in July, I think, of this year, 2025, for those who are watching in the future at this point. And they reused a lot of the content from pre-alpha, which we already knew they were going to do in the international version, because a lot of the assets, and especially the plants, and mainly the plants and zombies actually, the plants and zombies were both redesigned with the new art style that they had in mind. I don't know if it has a name, by the way. I know there's like 3 different art styles that they tried to pick, and then they didn't they completely disregarded that because fuck you, I guess. Eventually, this version came out and in China, and we were like, okay, well, there's going to be something coming for international soon. And coincidentally, what China is doing with PvZ 3 is the concept of fusions. Now, what they had over there is a elemental system where there were like fire plants, there were electric plants, I think there's snow plants as well. There's a couple of different types of plant elementals in that version. And the zombies also had these elements, I believe. And again, a lot of the plants and zombies in this version were from the pre-alpha version, and like you could immediately tell with some of them how they looked. You could just see the 3D oozing out of them. It was really uncanny and weird, but whatever, man. So yeah, PvZ 3 China copied Fusion, and at that point we were like, okay, so what's international going to do? Turns out they did the exact same thing. Go figure, because what China has been doing up to this point has just been reusing or re-adding assets that the international version hasn't been using in years now. Again, it's been 5 years since the pre-alpha, or 4. I mean, either way, that's a long time that they haven't been using those assets. So, we were like, okay, so PvZ 3 is going to copy PvZ Fusion, which if you haven't heard of PvZ Fusion, which I don't know how you wouldn't have been able to hear about this game. It's literally everywhere. It's the most popular PvZ 1 mod, and what it basically is that you can combine plants together to create new types of plants. The easiest example is like if you combine two sunflowers together, you'll get a twin sunflower. If you combine two pea shooters, you get a repeater. But then you have some crazier combinations, like combining a puff shroom with a pea shooter, for example. That combination will give you a special new interesting plant that you could play with, and the zombies will also have combinations and fusions with them, and it's a really cool game. I have played it. I highly recommend you play it. It's a really fun game. So we saw what PvZ 3 China was doing, and they were copying Fusion. And not long after the leaks came out, in October recently, PvZ 3 International PopCap just decided to drop the game on us out of nowhere. It is currently only, apparently, obviously in quotation marks, only available in the UK, but very quickly the APK for the game spread out online, and now a ton of people are playing it, me included. And what do I think of PvZ 3 as it is currently? Well, there's a lot to say here. I mean, like, PvZ 3 as it is currently, I don't think it's a bad concept, but it feels very weird. It's in a really weird state at the moment. Obviously, immediately when you boot up the game, you'll be told that, oh, the game is currently in beta, and after November 11th, it'll shut down, and your progress will get reset, and we'll be able to get your feedback and stuff. Like, they'll be able to take the feedback and make a better game. Supposedly. I say supposedly because they've done this before, and they have not changed anything. However, I personally think that the current PvZ 3 version that we have with all these fusion stuff, which I'll get to in a moment, is very interesting. I do think it's a fun kind of junk food type game. It's a game that you don't really think is healthy for you to play, like constantly, you know? It's not like a AAA game or something like PvZ 2 where you can play a lot of levels in a row and have a good time, per se. But it feels like a game that you can play like for 30 minutes or so just to kill time, or to do your daily task, which there's a lot of in this game. I'll get to that in a moment, again. It feels like a game that you can kind of just waste time on and play a little bit every day, and then just drop for the rest of your day, and then just come back the next day. It's like, it's not something that you should be playing constantly, it feels like a game that you can just kind of pick up, play for a little bit, and then just drop it, right? It's the typical mobile game. I hate using this word, but it really is like the common mobile game slop that we see nowadays. But I wouldn't call it terrible. So what's PvZ 3 doing here? Like, basically the plot is that this meteor came down from outer space, and suddenly all of the planets are getting the ability to fuse with each other to create stronger versions of themselves. And that's it. That's all we know at this point. There's pretty much no plot in the beta currently. And I'm pretty sure they just didn't want to tackle that aspect of the game yet. They're mostly focusing on the gameplay, which is very, very important here. Basically, a lot of the game focuses on two factors. Number one is your fusions. You get the base plant, the base form of the game, of the plant, or the tier 1 plant, by simply playing the game normally. You will be getting seed packets, which let you unlock the base plant and new plants as well. So with these seed packets, you then take them to the almanac, and then you can unlock new plants from there. Each plant takes a certain amount of seed packets to unlock. Like I said, you unlock the tier 1 plants by simply playing the game through the adventure mode, which is at the moment 200 levels long, which isn't, it does sound like a lot, it is a lot, but these levels usually just last around 2 to 3 minutes. So again, they're very short levels where you don't really get to set up a super defense where like you'll get 100 attackers or something like that. This game is very, very simple and very, very fast, like even faster than vanilla PvZ 2, which is really weird, but once you get adapted to it, it does feel like a fun flow. You kind of just get into a flow state and you just lock in and you get to have fun, you know, but I'll get to that in a moment again. So you unlock your plants through the seed packets. Those seed packets, you can use them to then unlock the tier 2 plants, which are all the fusions with the plants. Every plant has a different set of fusions. Some have more, some have less. And all of the plants have fusions with themselves as well, but some of them are overpowered. The balance in this game is out of whack. I'll get to that in a moment as well. There's a lot to cover with this game. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. So like I said, those tier 2 plants are fusions that you get with either the same plant or different plants. Some of them are very overpowered and kind of interesting, but most of them are kind of just one note for the most part. And then there's finally the tier 3 plants, which you get these by having 80 seed packets of whatever plant types are needed. These are supposedly the strongest plants. However, more often than not in gameplay, you only really need tier 2 plants. Again, I'll get to why later, because the tier 3 plants are so much set up for very much little payoff. There's a lot of different plants in this game, but at the moment we only have a couple available of the base plants, and they have quite a few fusions, most of them ranging from incredibly overpowered to just mediocre, like incredibly mediocre. Yeah, we have quite a few plants in this game actually at the moment. We have, let me see, oh my god. We have sunflower, pea shooter, walnut, potato mine, cabbage pole, spikeweed, not bok choy, rather Bob Choi, which is a completely different character, trust me. Iceberg lettuce, umbrella leaf, saptail, which is completely different from lightning reed, and tangle kelp. These are all the plants that are available at the moment. Each of them have different fusions. And yes, the only sun producer in this game is the sunflower, which is kind of unfortunate, really. Of course, sunflower does have fusions and does have, you do also have twin sunflower and the new tier 3 plant, sun tower, which is kind of funny, but you really only need the sunflower and twin sunflower to survive and get your sun production right. Something that people like that they did with this version is that they brought back the 50 sun cost the 25 sunk cost value. In the previous PvZ versions, all the plans costed single digits, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's back to the 25 sun meta again, which is nice, but the levels are still very, very quick. Like, sound production is very quick. Zombies arrive in a timer now, like in the previous versions. They no longer have an HP system where they arrive based on how much damage you deal to the zombie. Instead, they'll just arrive on a timer, which I will say, I did not like it how they did it in the original versions of PvZ 3, but in this version in particular, I do think it kind of works out, because the game encourages you to be very quick with how you defeat the zombies, because the faster you defeat the zombies, the more score you get at the end of the level, which I do actually kind of like this. It's a fun way to just play the game, like if you're speedrunning it, putting down your plans very quickly, putting down your attackers, and just go constantly, you know? I think it's a fun system. I think it's fun to place down plans quickly and just trying to go for a high score. I treat PvZ 3 like a high score attack game, and I don't think many people like that aspect of the game, and I completely understand why. I personally just found it fun, you know? Obviously, you don't have to find it fun. I just personally liked it, honestly. It's an interesting way of playing the game and enjoying it, to me. So anyways, yeah, the gameplay itself is just, again, very short levels. You're supposed to beat them very quickly. The faster you beat them, the more score you get. That score goes into a daily score meter, and the high scores that you get every day will show up in that scoreboard, and you're supposed to fill out the bar till the end so that you can get these little grab bag items. They're launch boxes in a nutshell, but these are basically just piñatas that give you seed packets, a total of 8 or 12 depending on the on how far you get. The first one has 8, the second one has 12 seed packets of certain plants. You can get this once a day, and that's one of the main ways to grind seed packets in the game, because this game is very grindy, and that is the one thing that I haven't mentioned yet. These fusions take up a lot of seed packets to unlock. The tier 1s only take about 15 seed packets, and again, you unlock those through the adventure mode, so don't worry about unlocking those. Then the merge tier 2 plants, or the fusion tier 2 plants, those take 30 seed packets, either of the same type of plant depending on the plant that you're unlocking, or 15 of 2 types if it's a fusion between 2 plants. So that's a lot of seed packets, but don't worry, you get them pretty quickly. You get them through a lot of ways, but it is still a grind. The thing that is a grind, and that I don't recommend doing, and that is honestly a waste of time, is the tier 3 plants. These take up 80 seed packets, or a mixture of 80 seed packets depending on the fusion that you're trying to get. They're pretty useless. I would not recommend getting tier 3 plants. Just focus on the tier 2 plants and upgrade those, because yes, there is plant leveling in this version again. Every time you beat a level, you get coins, and then you get experience points. Coins, for example. Sorry, oh my god. Okay, it's currently 11:09 p.m. dude. I've been recording for 24 minutes. Can you tell I'm tired? Alright, let me see. Coins are obtained through the pass. They're obtained through there's a battle pass, I forgot about that. Through the battle pass, through the daily reward meter. They're obtained through Sand Garden. There's a Sand Garden in this version, I'll get to that in a moment. And you get it through beating levels. Coins are mainly used to upgrade plants, and that is their only purpose at the moment. Which kind of sucks, because you get a ton of coins through a lot of methods, but you barely have anything to spend them on. It really sucks. the one thing that you will be lacking a lot of, no, well, not really, it really depends on how you spend it, is experience. Experience is obtained through beating levels, through the battle pass, and that's it actually. That's one of the only two methods of obtaining experience. Experience points are used to level up your plants. That's pretty much the main bottleneck that you'll have when it comes to leveling up plants. You can level up your plants, any type of plant, through level 1 through 9 with only coins and experience. The plant that you are upgrading needs to be the same level as the tier below it. And the way that I can explain this in a way that makes sense is that, for example, if you want to upgrade your Twin Sunflower to level 5, your Twin Sunflower Fusion, you need to have your main base Sunflower at level 5. If you try to upgrade it past that level, you won't be able to upgrade your Twin Sunflower past level 5 until you level up your base Sunflower. And also, if you are trying to upgrade any plant past level 9 until level 10, you're going to need seed packets of that specific plant. For example, in the screenshot that I'm showing right now, I have my Iceberg levels to level 10. I could level it up from level 1 through 9 just through coins and experience. But at level 10, I required, I think it was 25 or 30 seed packets from Iceberg lettuce to enable to level it up to level 10. And that's because at level 10 and level 20, you unlock abilities that are very useless, but you're not allowed to level up the plant any further until you get those seed packets. And then after that, you're able to level up through coins and experience again. So that's like an extra bottleneck that they put in there to, I guess, balance out the grinding or something. I don't really know why they did that. It's really stupid. And the seed packets are obtained through the daily reward meter, through the Sand Garden, and through a few adventure levels, which when you beat them through the first time, they'll give you seed packets so that you can unlock the base version of the plant. The seed packet system is kind of fucked. The daily reward grab packs only give you seed packets for Spikeweed, I think? No, sorry. They only give you seed packets for Bok Choy, Iceberg lettuce, Umbrella Leaf, Saptail, and Tangle Kelp. If you want seed packets for Sunflower, Pea Shooter, Walnut, Potato Mine, and Cabbage Pult, you either need to get them through the Battle Pass, I guess, or get them through a community event, which there's also that. There's a community meter thing that everyone contributes to. There's a lot in this game. There's a lot of concepts and ideas. For example, there's the God, dude, you know what? I'm gonna cut it here. Alright, I had a good sleep. I enjoyed some much needed rest, and now I'm back not a day later, like 12 hours later, to continue discussing PvZ 3. So, one of the things that I haven't touched on has been the avatar. For some reason, they added a customizable avatar that you could make at the start of the game. Like, you will obviously have a username and stuff in game, but then you also have the ability to customize your own character for some reason. I'm not sure why they did this. It really doesn't add anything to the game other than, I guess, making some avatar that represents you in the game, but they don't do anything with it. It looks really creepy and weird. You can move it around the town where all your other players are, but you can't really do anything with it. That neighborhood thing is like a little clan in quotation marks, like a clan system where you can join up with other people to be in a community, but again, this doesn't really have any functionality and doesn't really affect anything in the game. It really is just kind of filler. Both the avatar and the neighborhood stuff. I mean, sure, you can see how other people have decorated their houses, how they decorate their avatars, or what plants they're planting in the Sand Garden, but you can't really do anything to interact with players in the game itself, which who knows, man, maybe they'll add some functionality in the full version, but at the moment I highly doubt they're gonna do that, considering how lazy PopCap tends to be, especially with the unrelated recent not leaks. I would say it's more so like the upcoming release of Replanted. Like, yeah, they're not going to do anything with that, I can assure you that much. Like, it's really weird that they add this entire system about avatars and neighborhoods, but they don't really do anything cool with it, other than, I guess, decorating your house. But a lot of the decorations are pass exclusive, which I will get to the pass very soon here. And I don't know, it just feels like a waste of resources on a feature that will otherwise be kind of neat, because imagine if it was like PvZ Adventures, where you had your entire neighborhood and you could like help out players or other people in that community that you built. I think that would be a very cool system. In fact, a lot of the neighborhood system that we have in the current version does feel a lot like PvZ Adventures. Some people even called it PvZ Adventures 2, exactly because of that. But like, yeah, there's you got your little flower pots, and then you have the ability to like check out other people's houses. It's weird, honestly. It's a little weird. It's a little poorly made, and I hope that they expand on it eventually. I guess on that note, I can talk about the Sand Garden. The Sand Garden is the main method that you use to get seed packets regularly, in quotation marks, because currently you can only get 7 hearts a day. So the way that the Sand Garden works is that you have 4 flower pots, and you can plant any of the basic plants in those flower pots. Planting a plant costs you 1 heart, and you have 7 hearts a day. So once you run out of hearts, there's no way to restore them, or any way to like spend coins, or even the premium currency, which is gems, on recharging your hearts. You plant the plants, and then you're supposed to take care of them by giving them specific items that they need. These items, you get them from these little posts around the neighborhood, which give you about 9 items per game. They're supposed to be little games called odd jobs, which they have not added in the current version. There's concept art for them, and they are asking for feedback on whether you like the idea or not and want to see it developed in the full game. But as it is, there's not really the system isn't in there yet. And maybe they'll add it eventually, maybe they won't. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. It's just really weird that you can just like press the button to get the item and then spend your energy getting that item. I don't know, man. Like, if you're going to have this feature, I guess you should just like add it fully instead of just doing it like they did here, where they just give you the concept art, but then they don't let you actually experience the thing. And the odd jobs themselves are just like little mini games that are very basic. They will probably take like a minute or two to complete. They're the kind of mobile game, I hate this word again, slop, that you will see on like commercials or advertisements for the game that don't have anything to do with the game itself. And I guess that's why they put that there, for advertisement purposes. But anyways, once you do those mini games, you get the items that you need to take care of your Sand Garden plants. And then you have to wait out a very small timer. It's usually about 3 to 7 minutes per plant that you get. Each plant has 2 stages. So you have to get them 2 different items and wait about 10 minutes between those stages. And then once you're done, the plant will be able to be harvested in the moment. However, harvesting them as they are is not worth it, because you only get 1 seed packet of that specific plant that you planted, and some coins as well. What you're supposed to do is that you need to fuse these plants together into the tier 2 version with the same type of plant. So you should be planting 2 different types of plants per day, 2 of each, so that you can fuse these together to then get the tier 2 plant. And then you take care of this plant the same way as you did with the previous stage. And then once it's grown to the second stage, you can then harvest it for, I believe it's 4 seed packets, or 5, probably 4, because they don't really like doing odd numbers in this game. So then you get your seed packets from that way. If you have the tier 3 plants unlocked, you can then merge those tier 2 plants into one tier 3 plant, which gives you 12 seed packets instead once you fully harvest it. But it does take quite a lot of resources to get to that point. And either way, I don't have a lot of the tier 3 plants unlocked, so I don't really harvest those. I only tend to stick to tier 2 plants of any given seed packet or type of plant that I want. And the system itself works fine, but I do wish there was a way to recharge your hearts with coins, probably, since coins are so abundant. I think it would be very nice if you could have some sort of system where you spend your coins to get more hearts so that you can plant more. And either way, the current system that they have with the odd jobs, where you get 9 items per try, and each try every time you play an odd job. The quotation marks again, you can't really play per se at the moment. You get 9 items and it takes you 5 energy, because of course there's energy in this game, and the energy recharges you get 1 point of energy every like 12 minutes or 15 minutes, I think. And then in order to be able to play one of the odd jobs, you need 5 energy. So, you just have to wait more. Every 5 hours you get the full bar, in case you're wondering. So if you want, you can spend all of your energy in the morning and then come back in the afternoon, and then you'll have a full bar ready of energy that you can spend on the odd jobs if you want to. But yeah, it's just a really weird system. It's kind of all over the place, honestly. It just feels like tedious grind that really shouldn't be there, but they decided to just do anyways, because fuck you. You're going to have to if you want to speed up the progress, you're going to need to use gems, which, guess what? There's pretty much no way to earn gems for some reason. I don't know why this is. Like, there's no way to get any sort of gems in this game at the moment. The only way that you can get them is through the plant pass, which is not worth it. I'll get into why that is in a moment here. Any other way, the offers that you're given with gems are not worth it. You can buy coins with gems, which is not worth it, because you get a ton of gems from playing the game normally through Sand Garden and through the plant pass itself. You can get a ton of coins very quickly, so it doesn't matter. And you can also get a daily offer, quote unquote offer, by the way, because this absolutely sucks. Every day you can buy one singular seed packet from any of the basic plants for 8 gems. It is not worth it. Like, holy shit, that is an absolute scam, and it's ridiculous. And the only thing that you can do with gems is you can use them to speed up Sand Garden plant progress, which isn't worth it, because the Sand Garden plants have a very short timer anyways. You can just spend like 30 minutes harvesting using all your hearts and harvesting all the plants that day, and you won't have to spend any gems with it. Like, it's not worth it, man. It's an absolute scam, and I do not recommend spending any money on this game as it is currently. And in fact, in general, I don't think it's worth spending on this game, because a lot of it is grinding. Eventually you will be able to get enough coins and XP and stuff to just do whatever you want in the game. I do feel like you get a lot of coins and experience from the pass itself, as it is currently. The plant pass is very generous at the beginning and the first like 20 or so tiers, and you can get so much experience and coins from that you'll be set for a while if you use your experience points correctly and get plants that actually matter, which I'll get to it as well in a moment. Like, the game itself is very grindy, but if you just play every like 30 to 45 minutes a day, you should be able to get whatever you want in a reasonable amount of time without having to spend any sort of money. And at its core, I do think that's what PvZ 3 was built to be. Just a game that you pick up for a little bit during the day and then just drop it until the next day. And that's completely fine. I think games like that are perfectly serviceable and fun. Like, this isn't a PvZ 2 arena levels of grinding that you have to do. It's a lot more reasonable, surprisingly, but it does still feel like a chore, which I know some people do not like. I personally enjoy grinding in my video games. I've been a grinding fanatic for years now. A lot of my old content in my channel is me grinding for specific items in MMOs. You can go look those up. I've been a grinding fan for so many years now that the PvZ 3 grind feels like it feels fast, you know? It feels very fast for me. So I don't really care about it, but I know people do care about it, and it can be very annoying to not get enough seed packets for a specific fusion or plan that you want. And I totally understand that, and I do feel like they should add more ways for you to get seed packets in a more reasonable manner, like replaying adventure levels or playing through specific campaigns or mini games or stuff like that. Which does bring me to the pass itself, and my main concern with the pass is that it does feel a bit pay to play, in the sense that, well, not pay to play, I mean pay to win, but not really. The way that the pass is structured is that it's a way for you to get specific fusions, particularly tier 3 and tier 2 fusions, much more quickly, because you're given these fusions at the very start of the pass. So like, if you get the pass immediately, you should be able to get the fusions unlocked by themselves without needing any seed packets in about like the first day that you get the pass, if you do your daily task and complete them during that day, right? Like the first few tiers of the pass, the first to like the 20th tier of the plant pass itself, are very easy to get, and you can get those in a reasonable amount of time. The main goodies of the premium pass are at the start, like I said, where you just straight up unlock fusions from the get-go, which completely skips a lot of the grinding that you will have to do otherwise. And after that, you only get experience points, you get grab bags with a ton of seed packets, and that's about it. Like, you don't really get a lot out of the pass, and the only reason you would want to buy the pass is to skip grinding, which you would otherwise have to do if you didn't buy the pass, or if that's a specific plan that you want isn't in the pass. So it just feels like a bit of a waste of money to buy it, not to mention that it's very expensive. I think it's $10 to get the premium pass, which is incredibly expensive for something that shouldn't be, well, that shouldn't be so expensive, you know? Like, it feels like a scam. It generally does feel like a huge scam to get the pass as it is currently. In my country, that is 192 pesos, which is about $10, which again, it just feels like a scam for how little you get. And either way, especially at the current state of PvZ 3, it does not feel worth it. It's straight up a scam, and I don't recommend you buy it. But I mean, if you're a billionaire and you just want to spend some money on fucking PopCap, I guess you can do that. I feel like it's better to spend your money on PvZ 3 than fucking Replanted. But I'm no financial advisor. Do not go around buying stuff in mobile games unless it's a game that you really enjoy, or you have the money to spare to not be in a financial ruin if you spend money on a mobile game. I just think playing PvZ 3 is fine, but spending money on it is absolutely not worth it, and I would not recommend doing it. Alright, well, time for the closing statements, and I mostly want to give tips for playing the game, because I do think PvZ 3 is enjoyable if you simply see it as a game that you can pick up, play for like 30 minutes a day, and then just drop it entirely and keep on with your day, you know? It feels like a game that you have to play as if you were playing a time attack game, like I said before, where you need to try and defeat the zombies as quickly as possible. You can't really build a defense anyways due to how short the levels are. So you need to make sure that your defense is very strong and can reliably kill zombies very quickly. So how do you do this? Well, PvZ 3 surprisingly has very overpowered plans. And two of them are very easy to unlock, very easy to level up, and very easy to use. And I'm talking about Lightning Reed and Blast Choice. So let me go over each one first. And I'm gonna start with the least problematic child, which is still problematic anyway because it's overpowered. Lightning Reed. Lightning Reed is the tier 2 fusion for Saptail. And what it does is that it deals quite a lot of damage very quickly at multiple targets, like the usual Lightning Reed that we know and love. In the original PvZ 3, I'm pretty sure it was very overpowered and then they nerfed it. And now it's overpowered again because you can just level it up like crazy. And mine is currently at level 9 and it's able to completely melt the hordes because each of his attacks spears like 4 targets, I believe. Which is ridiculous, honestly. It is insane, it's incredibly stupid. You can just very easily spam Saptails and Lightning Reeds because weirdly, despite this being a 25 sun meta game, Saptail costs 40 sun, and getting a Lightning Reed costs you 80 sun, which is more than enough to be able to get multiple of these very quickly and then just melt down the horse without having to worry too much about anything really. The only thing that will be concerning to you is the Gargantuars, and later on in the levels the zombies get tougher and have more HP and damage. So you might want to bring Potato Mine, which you will have to either way because of the next plant I'm going to be talking about. But yeah, Lightning Reed spam is incredibly powerful, just like in PvZ 2 vanilla, and it is kind of boring, but you know, if you want to be efficient and want to beat the levels quickly so that you can get those gold trophy scores, you're going to have to use Lightning Reed because it's the most reliable and quickest way to set up a defense at the early game, especially since it can target 3 lanes at once, while other plants like Slimpy, who can also target 3 lanes above in their own lane and below, they're very weak. So I don't recommend using them. I only recommend using Lightning Reed in this case, which really sucks, but you know, it is what it is. The other plant that is very much worth using and that you should be unlocking immediately as soon as you can is Blastchoy. Blastchoy is the Bob Choy and Potato Mine combination, or fusion I mean, sorry. And the only reason it's very powerful is because of a possible oversight or bug with it, where for some reason its leveling is incredibly ridiculous, and every level up that you get with Blastchoy increases not only its health but its damage at the same time. You get 2 stats increased for the cost of 1 upgrade, while in other plants you usually only get a singular stat upgraded per level. So basically, Blastchoy is incredibly overpowered because of this. Its ability is that it punches zombies normally, but then every couple hits, it will charge up a charged explosion shot that deals damage in a 3x3 area and is very, very strong. Especially because of that leveling. So like, in the early game, when you start the game, you get enough seed packets to unlock Blastchoy, and then you can level it up using all the XP that you're getting from the plant pass and the levels that you beat. And then using this, you'll be able to beat more levels more quickly because Blastchoy just melts through everything that isn't a Gargantuar or like a magma monster or a canoe, I think. I think those are the only 3 things that can reliably counter Blastchoy. But even then, it has so much HP. At level 9, I think it has 2700 HP. Which is a lot for a plant that isn't supposed to be a wall. And again, this is because of the possible oversight that the developers had with it, where its damage and health increase with every level. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's honestly a ridiculous plant that you should definitely be using because it's overpowered and it's very dumb. Now, there are 2 other plants that I think are worth considering. The first one is Devastator, which is the Potato Mine fusion. It is just 2 Potato Mines together into 1 plant. Devastator is basically Primal Potato Mine in this game. It has a 3x3 explosion radius, but it also leaves behind a single Potato Mine on the lawn, which you can very easily fuse with another Potato Mine to keep generating Devastators all around the lawn. And this can very quickly melt down any high health zombies that may appear. Now, what's really stupid about this is that if you level up Devastator to level 9, which is the cap for that point, Devastator is able to spawn 2 potato mines, which basically lets you fuse them infinitely. And yeah, I hope they nerf that and they completely remove it or something, because it's incredibly overpowered. It's very dumb and stupid, and I don't think that should be a thing that the plants can do. But now it exists currently, so abuse it while it exists, I guess. Just level up Devastator to level 9, and then you'll be able to infinitely duplicate them as much as you want. The other plant that I highly recommend getting, which you get from when you start the game, actually, it's very simple to get it, is the Sun Mine, I think it's called. It's a Sunflower and Potato Mine fusion. And what's really cool about the Potato Mine fusions in this game, which I actually really like, is that fusing them instantly arms the Potato Mine to let it explode immediately after it dies. Because for some reason it's not an instant, it's a plant that the zombies have to eat to be able to explode. But anyways, my point is that the the Potato Mine and Sunflower fusion is able to be used anywhere on the lawn, so that you can place down a Potato Mine, then quickly fuse it with any sunflower, either on the lawn that's already on the lawn that you don't need anymore, or fresh from your seed bank. You can quickly fuse them to take down any threats or to very quickly wither down the health of a specific zombie. And this is super useful early on in the game, where you don't really have a lot of burst damage options. So you can just use this fusion to quickly deal with any zombies that might appear in front of you. It's a really reliable fusion, especially because it pays for itself, because every explosion, that detonation from this fusion gives you 80 sun, and that is enough to pay itself off, or maybe pay for another defense or attacker that you might need. It's very useful, a very useful fusion that I recommend that you use, because again, it's also very easy to level up, because you want to be leveling up your base plants anyways, so then you can just focus your experience on Lightning Reed, Blast Troy, Devastator, and the Sun Mine. But out of all these, I highly recommend spending your XP on Lightning Reed and Blast Troy the most, because those will pretty much carry you through the entire game, and you won't have any problems dealing with the zombies this way. It's very stupid and ridiculous, and I don't know why it exists, but you know, PvZ 3 is a game for sure that, I don't know, it exists and you can play it and you can unlock interesting plans with it, but a lot of them ultimately just fall off because of the zombie leveling that's in the levels themselves. Well, anyway, that's going to conclude this incredibly long rant, review, introspection, thoughts video on PvZ 3. The beta will end in November 11th of this year, so if you want to go play the game right now, there's multiple APKs available online that you can just very quickly download and just play the game, install it on your phone or on an emulator or whatever, and just start playing the game without any issue. I personally think I will be playing the full release when it does come out, but as it currently is, PvZ 3 is just an okay, kind of mediocre game that, I don't know, it just kind of exists, and I don't really think it's anything too horrible, but it's not like anything amazing either. If you want to play PvZ nowadays, you're better off just playing a mod of PvZ 2, or even PvZ 1 for that matter, because the stuff that's being churned out by the main company at this point is just not worth playing, and just not very fun at all, for the most part. And who knows, maybe PvZ 3 will prove me wrong, and in the future I'll be saying that it's one of the best games in the franchise, but I highly doubt that, especially considering how many iterations this game has gone through at this point. I highly doubt this will be the final version of PvZ 3 as it is. So who knows, we'll see if PvZ 3 continues being in development hell, or if it ever gets like an actual closure and is able to release as a proper game someday. We'll see, but as it is, it's just an okay, mediocre, kind of fast food, sloppy game that you can just play, draw for the day, and then just come back the next day and play a little more. And I don't think it needs to be anything more than that, but it really, I don't know. It just feels like it's like the lowest hanging fruit of the franchise, besides Replanted, which again is equally as bad, if not worse, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. PvZ 3 is just an anomaly that I kind of wanted to talk about, and I hope you enjoyed my rant, talk, thoughts, or whatever about this really weird and kind of stupid game. We'll see if it gets more content in the future. We'll see if it actually releases someday. If it does, I'll probably play it. We'll probably talk about it some more, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for this franchise, and yeah. Go play Reflourish and I don't know, maybe Albers. You can play Albers too. I think they have a pretty interesting but kind of all over the place original world that you can play. And yeah, I mean, go play PvZ 2 mods or something. Don't waste much of your time on PvZ 3. I think if you're going to play it, just play as a game that you can just drop and play, and that's it. Like, I don't think you need to give it any more attention than it really needs.